name's Rich. I'm Nikki's dad, in case you're here and don't happen to know that. On the program, I don't have a copy with me, but I think it says something about I'm supposed to read on 12:30-31. It does not say, just read. 30 and 31. And so Nikki would have been shocked had I just read Mark 12:30-31, so I'm going to do my best not to shock her. I'm going to be reading in a moment from New American Standard Translation, but this is Grandpa Jack's Bible, one of his, who's no longer with us, my father and Nikki's grandpa. Not many Bibles have duct tape on them. That's kind of indicative of my dad and her grandpa. She also got a big belt from him not long ago that she absconded from my closet. It has like a 6x6 brass buckle, says Jesus Saves on it. I'm sure some of you have already seen that. And I said, well, Nikki, you could wear that better than anybody else in this family. So she's doing that. So I love to think that Knopp is here today, and love to think that Grandma Odom is here today. Nikki comes from a heritage of people who love God, and I haven't said this to very many people, maybe once or twice. I don't even know if I've ever told this to Nikki. But even before she was born, I thank God, and I always unconsciously phrased it this way: thank you for our daughter. But what I meant in referring to our, in all of those cases, is not just Paula and me, but I consciously endeavored to encompass God in that. It was as though even before Nikki was born, her mom and I were commending her to God and giving her over to God. And since then, she's gone from Amy to Nikki to a number of other things. There was a time when we gave her over to somebody else, and that's her own husband, Greg. And a good part of the reason why Nikki is able to do what she is doing today and what she's been able to do is because of a loving husband that she has. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Greg. There he is.
We're never together.
Yeah. Thank Greg and for the heritage that Greg has had from his folks. And there's so many streams of influence that has contributed to this river of experience today. I like to think that now that we're doing the ordination, it's kind of come full circle. We're symbolizing in a more formalized fashion. We're giving you to God, and we already know that your heart is there. It's one of my favorite passages of Scripture. In fact, for me, it has become the core of what I often teach about. I have been known to emphasize a concept called Christian or biblical worldview. Sometimes people use that concept in a way to talk about mere belief, but I've become convinced in recent years and have specifically made a connection between what it means to love God with all you are and loving God with your worldview. This passage has great precedent coming from Deuteronomy chapter 6. It's such a famous passage in the Hebrew Bible. It even had a name called the Shema. It's set in the context of the Hebrews standing up and boldly proclaiming, calling God's people together, saying, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one." And we pick up the allusion to that very influential historical backdrop in Mark chapter 12, where someone comes to Jesus and asks him, what's the greatest commandment? And Jesus replies, the foremost is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Nikki, coming from your pop, I have just one charge for you. Love God with all your world.